Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. What you see there is a video of a UFO recorded by humans. Let's talk about the congressional hearing on UFOs, and Donald Trump gets bad news.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Good evening, Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics, national or global edition. I want to talk about the congressional hearings on UFOs. Did you know that Congress is learning about the possibility that our U.S. government is in possession of UFOs, or UAPs as they are now known? And Donald Trump, more bad news for the guy. He's being charged with more crimes. Why is Donald Trump in so much trouble? That's actually, something that's never been done before. That's actually, it's kind of like the Christopher Johnson thing, right? He's the first Board of Legislature member to be forced to resign over a scandal like that. And, all the years that it's been up and running. And so Donald Trump is probably the first president that's, been impeached. They tried to impeach twice. Now they're, charging him with all kinds of crimes after he's served his presidency. They just won't leave him alone. Why is that? Well, anyway, folks, I want to talk about the congressional hearings on UFOs. And I want to talk a little bit about national global politics and current events, right? I'm always talking about local politics, but what's going on nationally and what's going on around the world, which is important and impacts us. And is it true that UFOs are real? Does the U.S. government have in its possession unidentified flying objects, or UAPs as they're now known? That would be something. All the years that I've always wondered as a kid, are aliens real? Are UFOs real? Well, there's a possibility that they are. And a whistleblower has been testifying in front of Congress discussing what he knows about a UAP program that the U.S. government is running, in which they capture UAPs or UFOs and reverse engineer them. So basically, they learn how to create them, how to build it, and how to use it. So have we gotten much of our technology from aliens? Or is it a past civilization that existed before us that was far more advanced? I don't know. But according to these gentlemen, it's actually a few of them, former intelligence officers, we know a little more than the government knows a little more than what they've been telling us in regards to what's out there flying in the sky. UFO hearing key takeaways. What whistleblower told Congress about UAPs? A former military intelligence officer turned whistleblower told House lawmakers that Congress is being kept in the dark about unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs or UFOs, alleging at a hearing that executive branch agencies have withheld information about the mysterious objects for years. David Grush, who served for 14 years as an intelligence officer in the Air Force and National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, appeared before the House Oversight Committee's National Security Subcommittee alongside two former fighter pilots who had firsthand experience with UAPs. And I'm not sure if you guys remember the videos that were played on CNN where fighter pilots were chasing these tic-tac type of objects, as they call them, tic-tacs. Grush served as a representative on 2 Pentagon task force investigating UAPs until earlier this year. He told lawmakers that he was informed of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program during the course of his work examining classified programs. He said he was denied access to those programs when he requested it and accused the military of misappropriating funds to shield these operations from congressional oversight. So is that where all the trillions of dollars that the Pentagon seems to have gone missing every so often going to? These black operations, the black ops, right? These black budgets. That's trillions of dollars of taxpayer money. And they go to these secret programs. He later said he had interviewed officials who had direct knowledge of an aircraft with non-human origins and that so-called biologics were recovered from the craft, basically possible alien bodies. So do you guys remember or know anything about the Roswell, New Mexico crash of 1947? Members of both parties questioned how Congress should go about investigating the remarkable allegations, a reflection of the increasing willingness by lawmakers to demand the executive branch be more forthcoming about the phenomena. But I don't even know if the executive branch knows, right? And there's a lot of things that they actually keep from, Operation Bluebeam, absolutely. There's a lot of things that they keep from presidents. In fact, I hear that the last president to truly be informed about anything was John F. Kennedy. And John F. Kennedy was essentially killed or assassinated because he was going to come out not just about UFOs or alien technology that had been recovered by U.S. government, but also about, these black budgets and these black operations, the secret, government that worked in the shadows, the military industrial complex, all those companies that make all the weapons and the war machines that kill people, which is why they say war is a profit, right? And so they killed them because of that, right? Essentially, Lyndon B. Johnson was involved, and there's a lot of great documentaries on it that break it all down. So what else is our government hiding from us? If they actually have UFOs that they've recovered, then we should know about that, and that changes the game. That changes everything we know. Or, which is what I'm starting to believe, is this just technology that our government has just developed over the decades of spending trillions of dollars of taxpayer money, the money that they say has gone missing? Remember Donald Rumsfeld just before 9/11 happened? And very recently, the Pentagon has also said trillions of dollars has been misappropriated or unaccounted for over in the Ukraine. So they just blow taxpayer money on these black operations. And so have they been developing these UFO type of technology of flying things, flying machines? And they're just trying to use the UFO alien thing as a cover so that we believe they're aliens coming. And Project Bluebeam, right? And Operation Paperclip, absolutely. And so a lot of people don't know about that stuff. And a lot of people call that stuff, conspiracy theory stuff. But Operation Paperclip, for people who may not know, was a program where they brought over Nazi scientists over to America after World War II. So not all the Nazis were tried in the Nuremberg trials. No, not all of them. And some say that Hitler actually made it out, and it was his body double that was killed, and he lived the rest of his life out in Argentina, which I would believe, because while they speak Spanish there, you see a lot of blonde hair, blue eye Argentinians. And they would go, the Germans, I should say, would go to Argentina for holiday, as they call it in Europe. They don't say vacation, they say holiday. And so after World War II, many of the scientists were brought over to America, and some went to Russia, actually. So they kind of divided them up. And America brought these scientists over because they wanted to continue working on the research that they've been working on. And part of some of that research included a bell-shaped flying object. And this is a true fact, right? They don't teach this stuff in school. And this is important. These are important stuff to know. So they brought over a gentleman, specifically a gentleman by the name of Warner von Braun. Warner von Braun. He was instrumental in establishing NASA. How many of you know that? Warner von Braun, the guy who created the Saturn V rocket that took supposedly the first man to the moon, he was a Nazi. He was a Nazi rocket scientist. Before he was an American citizen working at NASA, he was developing rockets that were launched into Europe and blowing up, England, all the cities in England, and all the other places that the Nazis blew up, France. Yeah, he was building those rockets, but he was given a pardon. He was brought over to America, and they then had him working at NASA. NASA almost like Nazi, right? And so before he died, there's a woman out there, and she is credible, at least in terms of her background. She was his assistant. Before he died, he warned her about a fake alien invasion. He would tell her, and this is what she says over and over before he died, that the last card that would be played in the deck of cards, the Illuminati deck of cards, those are real cards that came out in the 90s, would be the fake alien invasion in which America or American government, the military, would create this fake alien invasion in order to usher in a one world government. And it wouldn't be far-fetched as technology is developed. And as we already know, there are powers that have always wanted to consolidate, right? And they have always wanted to create a one world government. That's what the League of Nations, and then now the United Nations, right? That's what that's all about. Or the World Health Organization. It's all about consolidating power, one central government. And so we've seen that over the pandemic when the World Health Organization was making decisions that were impacting American lives. So we have to be careful with that globalization. So there's Project Bluebeam, which is the belief that there will be a fake alien invasion. So, but whether there's going to be a fake alien invasion or not, the fact that Congress is hearing, former military intelligence officers telling them that they have been kept in the dark about what's been going on in regards to UFOs and that they're real is crazy. It's crazy. So I'm going to show this video again, and I can hear the people talking, and it sounds credible. I mean, this is also on MSN, so I would imagine that they're not going to put something that's a complete lie. But I've seen many of these videos, and they really are unbelievable. I mean, I don't know what they are, but they're definitely not fake.
Como un extraterrestre, algo así. Una bola de candela en el aire, mira para eso tú.
Now, U.S. fighter pilots have reported seeing this along with commercial airline pilots. So you could be flying, in an airplane on your way to Florida or the Bahamas, and you look out your window and you see this. There's videos of passengers from planes recording these things, and they go fast. They fly by. They can't believe how quickly they can turn and stop and then reverse direction. It's an anti-gravity technology that uses electromagnetic propulsion, right? So this is a technology that I believe that our U.S. government has developed. They just don't want people to know about it. And they're now going to use this UFO story in order to have people believing that what they're seeing is UFOs from outer space, when in reality, it's technology that our government has. And they've always done this, right? They've always tried to keep this stuff from us by making us wonder, is it UFOs, right? By always, keeping us, in the dark or keeping us confused about it so they can hide their testing of different, planes that they're prototyping, or other helicopters or whatever other, military vehicles or aircraft. And they use this whole UFO cover. Do you remember the Phoenix lights, right, in the 90s or late 90s? So this is something that we've been, has been going on for a long time. And if you go online, you'll see a lot of videos just like the ones that I showed you there. And again, pilots are reporting this. So it's not like it's just a bunch of crazy people, just a bunch of nuts, people, creating CGI. There's a lot of that stuff out there as well. No, there are actual, real, legit videos from credible people showing all kinds of things in the sky, and it's crazy. And it just makes you really wonder what that stuff is. A lot of people don't know about this, and this goes over a lot of people's head, but it's so important to know. Right? We all in our bubbles. And what I'm saying is one day a lot of this stuff that's going on around us is going to eventually burst our bubbles that we're living in. So we have to pay attention. We can't just always be concerned with, what are we doing tomorrow? We're running our errands, because there are things that are happening that are going to, shift your entire life and your errands all upside down. Because instead of going to grocery, you're not going to go anymore when there's no food on the shelves. And this is happening in many towns across the country. Videos of places like Walmart with no food anywhere on the shelves. Prepare for food shortages, experts are warning. So it's important to know what's going on globally and nationally. Why are prices going up? Is this artificial? Are they purposely creating shortages? But we know that prices are going up. I mean, I'm finding myself now going places, and when the person tells me the total, I'm like, what the hell did I order? And it's because the prices have just gone up so much of everything. That you think it's a mistake, and it has you looking at your receipt. And it's not like I don't, I'll pay it, but I don't want to get robbed. But no, prices are going up. Yonkers researcher Craig Fitzgerald says that Adolf Hitler's chauffeur and bodyguard. Yeah, that's what they say. It wasn't actually Adolf Hitler. Some historians say that Rochus Misch was the last person to. It's hard to see emerge from Hitler's bunker. Your assertion is spot on, in my opinion. Thank you. Have you seen the UFOs that flew over Yonkers and Westchester County in the 1980s? If not, definitely. Yeah, I heard about it. I actually watched an episode of Unsolved Mysteries about it. The lights over the Hudson Valley, I think it was titled. But I've never been, at least I don't think, been fortunate enough to see a UFO. But again, I believe that they are military technology, it's government technology that they just want us to believe they're UFOs. So they have these whistleblowers that are sitting before Congress. Because they don't want Congress to know. They don't want the taxpayers to know that they have spent trillions and trillions of taxpayer dollars on this technology that's never going to benefit us, right? It's not going to do anything for you and I. It's never going to help us out. But they have spent it so they can then go to war and dominate the entire planet. These things can go from, one side of the planet to the other in about 30 minutes, if not less. Imagine what that can do, right? And if you research Richard Admiral Byrd, who was went on expeditions to the Antarctica, Operation High Jump, Operation Fishbowl. He said that there were the people would find that there's this technology that's out there, where there's these flying crafts that can go from one pole to the other, in a matter of minutes, right? And so we have to be ready for that. This is what he actually said. He was a admiral in the U.S. Navy. He was highly decorated, and he led several expeditions to Antarctica. Some say they were looking for something because they brought a bunch of military equipment, tanks and planes and all that stuff. I don't know if it's a tank, but they brought planes for sure. They might have actually brought some kind of tanks or whatever. So were they going to war with 5,000 men? But that's what I believe. I believe that they have blown all this money that they could have used to better the lives of Americans, because after all, it is our money that they've collected from us over the years, trillions and trillions of dollars that they've used to just create this technology through research and development. And you know how that goes. We see this here, these guys with these government contracts, they overinflate things. So they're blowing money. You see that happening with the school of McLean, right? It goes from one price to the next, and next it's over budget, right? By millions and millions of dollars and even trillions of dollars. So I think that's what that is. I think that this is just military technology, and they're just trying to fool us with this whole UFO thing, get us all excited. Oh my God, that's UFOs. I believe in God. I don't know about UFOs. I don't know about aliens, and they might even be a firmament, huh? Who knows? Most of Antarctica is not viewable on Google Earth. Yeah, that's the only place in the world that has total peace. Why is it that they've managed to create a treaty, all these different nations, Russia included, China included, they all have a treaty, America, that Antarctica is going to be off limits. It's just going to be a place for research. They're going to be at peace there. No one's going to fight. And they've managed to keep it that way since this, treaty has been signed. And this was after World War II, because again, folks, the Germans were already exploring Antarctica with their submarines, and they had bases there, which is why they sent Admiral Byrd there. See, a lot of people probably don't know this stuff. They don't know that the Nazis had a base in Antarctica called New Schwabland or something like that, right? And so when the Americans went out there to see what's up with this base, what technology did they find? And they've been there ever since. And now these other countries, and they don't fight. There's total peace. Why can't we do that here? Why can't we do it on the mainland, right? So, yeah, there's a lot going on in Antarctica. The Bible calls them demons, not aliens. Yes. Well, there's a whole debate. And a lot of people may not know this too and probably think this is crazy and this is conspiracy theory stuff. But there are actually real researchers, real, credible people who are, highly educated, doctors and this stuff, that have been researching, the whole alien phenomenon, have been researching alien abductions, not to get all crazy sidetracked, and stuff like that. And many of them have come to the conclusion that they're not aliens from outer space, but that they are demonic, probably interdimensional. Have you ever heard of what's that thing called when you have that sleep thing, when you sleep paralysis? I've had it once. You can't tell me there wasn't an evil force that was holding me down and that it wasn't real. I can't imagine that was a dream, because I've never had a dream where I wake up. Well, it seems like I woke up and I had the same clothes on, everything. My wife was next to me. Where, like, I'm every dream, I'm somewhere where I've never been before, right? And I'm wearing something I've never seen before. But this was just like I had woken up, literally woken up. And my dog was scared. And the one thing that I did to get rid of this when it stopped was I did the sign of the cross. And I'm not trying to sound crazy or go off track here and sound conspiracy theories. This is a true story. One day I had sleep paralysis and I felt like this dark, smoky cloud thing had grabbed me, dragged me up the wall, dropped me on the floor, and then I got up and I was scared. I remember, but I couldn't talk. I couldn't say any words. I couldn't call my wife, and she's next to me just sound asleep. And so I had a big pit bull at the time, and I go and grab my pit bull to try to have the dog sick it, sick the smoke, sick this dark cloud, whatever this is, right? Bite it. But my big, huge pit bull that's not ever scared of anything and that everybody was afraid of was scared and trying to go behind me, by going underneath between my legs. And so finally I did this, and then it stops. That's the last thing. And then I woke up in the morning. And so researchers all have found that people who have gone through sleep paralysis or have had what they believe to be alien abductions or been abducted by some kind of alien beings, what ended it was that they either did the sign of the cross or they said Jesus's name. This is the true story. This is true research. This is actual factual research from legitimate researchers, accredited, educated people, doctors, researchers, right? And that's the common thing. So many now believe that it's some demonic experience or spiritual experience that people are having. So, we don't know. So, it's so much that we don't know about this world. And again, it's not like we're going out there and doing our own research every day. We wake up every day. Most of us are watching, reality TV and, getting caught up with birthdays and baby showers and christenings and, things like that. And it's like, the Roman games, right? It's like when in Rome, why did they build a Colosseum and have these games? To keep the people busy, right? To keep them focused on something other than complaining about their government and then getting together and, changing their government. So when the people are distracted, right, then, they're less likely to stand up to the ruling power, So we've got to make sure that we're not distracted, right? That we're, and I get it, it's you want to have some fun, you want to enjoy your life. You don't want to, sometimes people say I can't watch the news because it's always bad and it gives me, anxiety or trauma. And I get that, right? But we have to know what's going on and be aware, of what's going on with the economy, How is that going to impact us, right? What's going on globally? What's going on in Ukraine, right? We have to know what's happening and be prepared for things, right? And so that whole Ukraine is another thing, and that's a story for another podcast, because I want to start doing more national stuff, and talking about topics, news, and current events outside of just Yonkers and local politics, because I think that's important as well, right? So, and this UFO thing is a very real thing. They're having hearings in Congress, but again, I don't believe it to be UFOs. I believe that these are military vehicles, and that's where a lot of the trillions and trillions of dollars that has gone missing from the Pentagon, taxpayer money, has gone into. They don't want us to know about it, and so they're trying to keep us distracted with some UFO things. I believe in God. That's me. I'm spiritual. I don't know about aliens from another planet. And I truly also believe that the moon landing was fake, and I can show you evidence. And a very famous director, the guy who directed The Shining with Jack Nicholson, what's his name? Stanley Kubrick. He actually, before he passed away, said in a video that he directed the moon landing, that it's fake. And he said he just was telling it because it was time that it got out. Listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? They say space is the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. I love that song. I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Anyway, Donald Trump, let's talk about that guy. I've actually been compared to Trump. They've called me the Donald Trump of Yonkers. I don't know if that's a good thing or that's a bad thing. I don't know. When people say it to me, though, they have a big smile on their face. So it appears to be a good thing. Former President Donald Trump was hit with more bad legal news on Thursday. We see this locally, right? So now on a national level, Trump on Thursday was charged with conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy to violate rights that are guaranteed by the Constitution related to his alleged involvement in January 6, 2021, the riot at the U.S. Capitol. I love how they continue to call that a riot. They don't mention all the rioting that was going on all across the country. I mean, a group called Antifa literally took over a police station for weeks. 4 weeks. Yet they don't keep throwing that back in our faces. But January 6th, he appeared at the Elijah Barrett Pettyman Federal Courthouse in Washington, D.C. at about 4:15 and pleaded not guilty, of course. He received more bad legal news before the hearing when Manhattan federal prosecutors secured access to video testimony Trump gave during the E. Jean Carroll defamation case in May. So they're trying to bang this guy hard. They're giving up everything. In that lawsuit, Trump was found liable for sexual abuse and defamation in order to pay Carroll $5 million. Prosecutors have been attempting to gain access to the tape deposition and could use it in March criminal trial, for which Trump stands accused of orchestrating a hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels in an effort to silence their alleged affair. Who the hell cares? Did you know that Hunter Biden had a laptop where he's smoking crack, where he's with an underage girl, where he's with prostitutes? Did you know that Hunter Biden has a recording out where he's basically extorting Chinese officials, saying, I'm with dad now. If you guys don't do what we say, my father is going to use every resource he has to make your lives difficult. This is what Hunter Biden is saying to Chinese officials. Biden also bribed or extorted or strong-armed, I should say, right? I believe it was in the Ukraine, the Ukrainian president to fire the prosecutor, influencing him to get rid of this guy because he didn't want him to investigate into what Hunter Biden and the Bidens have been doing over in the Ukraine, where basically money is being laundered. Why do you think they're giving millions and millions of dollars over there to Ukraine? Why do they care that much about the Ukraine? That piece of land belonged to Russia at one point. It belonged to a lot of different, countries or empires at one point through, Why do we care that much where we're sending millions of dollars while here at home we have people on the streets starving? We have a crisis at the border that's turning our cities into third world countries. Yet we're sending hundreds of millions of dollars to the Ukraine, and now they can't account for that money, taxpayer money. Who voted for this guy? And they're worried about Donald Trump. Not that I support the guy or I love Donald Trump. I'm a Democrat. I don't wear a MAGA hat, but I make sense. I have common sense. I'm practical. It doesn't make sense to spend more taxpayer money going after Donald Trump. Why? Did you know that Mimi Rocha, the Westchester County DA, tried to bring Trump up on charges herself? She's even involved in this. We know damn well that Mimi could be bringing up a lot of more people on charges, other people, other things she should be investigating. Yes, she wants to get in on it. So does Letitia James, our attorney general. They want to get in on it. Politics has become political, right? It doesn't serve the people anymore. It serves themselves. They serve themselves. It's a joke and it's blatant. So it blows my mind when people sit here and be like, oh, Donald Trump, your Biden is the best guy. This, that, oh, Donald Trump is a womanizer, racist. I'm like, do you know what's going on in the world? Do you care about Donald Trump that much? Do you care that our tax money is being stolen? They're funneling taxpayer money through the Ukraine. They're basically pillaging the country as the ship is sinking. Wake up, America. Wake up. Look what they're doing in our schools. Why do you think they're introducing that stuff? To keep us distracted, to keep us busy going to school board meetings so we don't realize that they're stealing our money, that they're destroying this economy, and that our freedoms are being taken away more and more each day. And I'll be honest, the one guy that has tried to warn us is Donald Trump, and look what's happening to him now. Come on. You have to make sense. We have to have common sense. This country is going to hell in a handbasket. It's funny you say that. Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe and is rich in uranium deposits. That's part of the equation. Just utter the name of Jesus. That's right. You know, it's interesting to see videos from the Ukraine of the city there. Is it Kyiv? Everybody's walking there like nothing's going on. The streets are beautiful. I mean, a lot more beautiful than the streets of Manhattan. A lot more beautiful than Getty Square. They're showing videos of people inside malls there. It doesn't appear that there's a war going on. It doesn't appear that those folks are in danger of losing their lives, in danger of the Russians coming in to take them over. And Putin warned this would happen. Putin told them, stop encroaching. The minute that fake president they got in there, what's his name? Zelensky, the former comedian who before becoming president did a comedy about becoming president with some made-up party. 2 years later, he's the president under this made-up party from the movie. I mean, they're telling you right there that it's all a show. Imagine having a president that danced to a Beyonce song in high heel leather boots. A comedian. And once he became president, he wanted to join NATO. Was it NATO? or UN allowing them to put their weapons and stuff there, and Russia wasn't having it, and that's why they went in. And I'm sure there's a whole lot of other mess going on, but it's not our business. It sure does not call for our country to be sending millions and millions of our taxpayer money there while our streets are turned into third world countries. Look at Manhattan. Look at San Francisco. Tourists don't even go there anymore because their rented cars are getting broken into in broad daylight. People are walking into stores, calmly walking into stores and loading up garbage pails on wheels or shopping carts and calmly walking out. What's going on in this country? We have migrants sleeping on cardboards, wrapping around blocks. We have homeless Americans sleeping in tents and in mobile homes or vans converted into mobile homes, because that's the thing now. Go on YouTube. You see all kinds of videos of people who have converted a van, an ambulance, even a military tank or vehicle into mobile homes because of the cost of living. And then they're parking them along streets throughout the country. Are you not concerned? Are you not concerned what this country will look like in the next 10 years? I am. I'm concerned for my kids. And so to those people who speak about Donald Trump negatively and they hate Trump and this, wake up. See what's going on. We have a president that I'm not sure if he's alive or not. He can't get out a coherent sentence. He can't read from the teleprompter correctly. He doesn't know which direction to walk in. He's talking and shaking hands with the air. He's way too touchy with kids. His son is a drug addict who has extorted Chinese officials and has scammed and lied and cheated. Biden just recently acknowledged one of his grandchildren that he has been denying forever, completely ignoring this child from his life, from the Biden family's life. And that is the man that you think should be our president? That's the man you think is better than Donald Trump? I don't think so. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. The biggest land battle in Europe since World War II. This is the biggest land battle, yeah. Walmart parking lots in California are half filled at night with people parked in their van campers. I suppose it beats 10 cities, which Cali has also cornered the market on. You know, I even see this here in Yonkers. I see the mobile homes and the campers in the parking lots of the ShopRites. I see it. I see the people sleeping on the streets. I see the migrants hanging out over there on Tuckahoe Road. You see people on drugs. Just yesterday, I was with my kids. I was at the light, and a man was slumped over because he was high on some drug. It's getting bad out there. It's getting really bad. And so we have to become more active and more involved. We have to come out and speak out and start to pay attention to what's going on, educate ourselves. Because if we don't, we're going to get to a point where it's too late and we're not going to like where we have gotten to. Guys, ready for digital currency? No more dollar. All right. So a lot's going to change. Hopefully, I don't know. I believe it's going to happen. I believe in the Bible. I believe we have to go through it. I believe we're going to have to go through the worst before we get to the point where it's better. So I just think it's inevitable. You're the only person talking about it publicly, Freddie. Oh, thank you. And I intend on doing this more. I just kind of want to do this real quick. I said, look, let me try talking about something different. I don't want to just talk about, local politics. I will continue to do that as well. But I think it's important to know about what's going on in the world and also to think about things a little bit outside the box, right? And not be so, rigid or, thinking, not conform all the way to the, status quo way of thinking and see things a little bit differently. Just ponder on things. That's what I like to do. Don't always take things at face value. So there's a lot going on out there. There's a lot for us to learn. Enhanced driver license go into effect May 2025. There's a lot that's going to go into effect May that year, and then by 2030, and you know what? I want to do an episode on 15-minute cities. That's important because that relates to or affects us or is impacting us here in Yonkers. Why do you think all these developments are going up? Why do you think they're going up the way they're going up, right? It's almost weird. Like they're condensing all these developments in, small areas. It's like they're not considering, how people are going to travel, the ease of travel, right? Because maybe they don't want you to travel. So we're going to talk about smart cities. And when I, start to talk about it, maybe you'll start to see some of the things that are already happening that you could say, wait a minute, I think he's right. Is that what's happening? Just think about it. Smart meters, right? We have the smart meters in the home. Why did they force everyone to install smart meters? We've been doing it with the other meters, with the dumb meters forever, right? It's like, why are we having to change all this stuff? We've been doing it this way for so long. They're using this whole climate change, green initiative to get people emotionally invested in the idea. That's what it's about. If you're emotionally invested in the idea, then you're going to go with it. You're going to believe in it. And then you're going to shame your family members or your neighbors if they don't go with it. If they actually have an independent mind, if they can think for themselves, that's what they want. Why do we need smart meters? Why do we need cameras all over the city with facial recognition software? I mean, is it that serious? I mean, are they looking for bad guys like that? Right? I mean, some of this technology is just not worth giving up the freedoms that we're giving up. Did you see the case of the Ring camera that the people had in their home and someone hacked it and started talking through it? Could you imagine that? You're in your home and someone is talking through your camera, your surveillance camera. I don't have the Ring, but I do have surveillance cameras that you can actually talk through. That's spooky, right? That's crazy. And how many of you know that not only are, many states starting to pass laws that by a certain year, usually it's like 2030, manufacturers can no longer produce gasoline-powered cars. They want them to be all electric. Okay, well, did you also know that in the pandemic relief bill, right? Because this is how they sneak things by. In the pandemic relief bill, there was also a bill that required all car manufacturers to install kill switches and the ability to access the car remotely. So you're going to have an electric vehicle that can be accessed remotely. And I'm sure they can already. So think about that. They want to get you. Now they're going to stop your car. They're going to lock your doors, and they're going to probably tell them you have to install bulletproof windows too, so people can't get out when we want to get them. So, is that where we want to head? Is that the direction that we want to head? Do we really want to connect, computers to our brains? Do we want to put chips in our brains? Do we need to do that? Why do we need AI? And that's another thing maybe I'll talk about as well, artificial intelligence. Why do we need AI? I mean, there's nothing positive about it. Why do we need a robotic dog that can jump extra high and do crazy flips and run faster than any man alive? Why do we need a man-like robot to do that? Why? People are going to lose jobs. Is that a good idea? I mean, that doesn't solve unemployment. It actually helps create unemployment. So why do we need this stuff? Think about it. Right. So we have to really think about, is all this technology really worth it? Yeah, anything that's connected in your house. Yeah, anything that goes online. That's right. The what is that called? The Alexa, all that stuff, folks. Yes, people say, well, you got your phone. I get that. But Alexa is different because Alexa controls things in your home. Your cell phone doesn't. Your cell phone, you can put it in another room, in a box somewhere. I mean, sure, they can still track you, even with the battery dead, right? So unless you're not being tracked, but I mean, in talks, in regards to listening to what's going on in your home and your private conversations, right? And Alexa, there was another case, I watched too much stuff, where Alexa sent an audio recording of this couple in their home to a friend of theirs. It emailed it to them. So the friend received an email, an audio clip of what this couple was talking about in their home. They don't know how this happened, but the guy calls up his friend and says, hey, I just got this email and it's of you and your wife talking. And he told them exactly what they were saying. Spooked them out. Luckily, they weren't saying nothing nasty to each other, you know what I mean? Or they weren't making love, that would have been crazy, right? Or cursing at each other for whatever, right? So why do we need this technology? Are you too lazy to turn on your own lights? Can you not turn on your own TV? Can you not change your own channel? Can you not set your own temperature on the thermostat? Because the only thing that it's doing is making us lazier. We're becoming weaker. We're becoming, less, we're not needed anymore, right? We got the machines to do everything. We're going to become obsolete. Do we want to be obsolete? Right? We don't even remember phone numbers anymore, right? Because we store everything on our phone. So now our memory is not as good because we don't use our brain as much. We don't have to, right? We don't have to add numbers together anymore. We don't have to learn how to write cursive, right? Because everything is just your finger, facial recognition, squiggly line with your hand, or your finger, I should say, right? We're trading convenience, right, for what? Convenience is becoming a vice. Yeah, it is. We don't need AI. It's a pecker measuring contest. You know how to put things for men who would means to bring it about. Yeah, I guess I think also, it's I think it's a lot of reasons that people want to, those who have an interest in seeing this, right? I mean, if your companies, you will want to have technology that allows you not to have to hire as many people, right? So it's it's a fixed, not a fixed cost, but it's a variable cost, right? As opposed to a fixed cost where you have to constantly pay a salary. You buy this robot once, maybe you have some maintenance here and there, but you don't have to pay it $100 and some $1,000 a year. They want to have robot lawyers and robot doctors. Why? You're going to lose your jobs, humans. Do you not love yourself? So you got to think about this. Who are the people creating this? Are they anti-human? Maybe even anti-Christ. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered, folks. I love you, beautiful people. And let's talk about more stuff than the Yonkers politics that we all have come to know all too well, because there's a lot more going on, and we should know about it.
Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
You're watching Basement at Freddie Vasquez.
I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered National Edition. That was my talk on UFOs. According to former intelligence officers, UFOs are real, and our U.S. government has been in possession of them for a while now. They are keeping Congress in the dark. But why? Or are UFOs really
Freddie wins.
military technology that has been created using the trillions and trillions and trillions of taxpayer dollar that has mysteriously gone missing since, Donald Rumsfeld and just before 9/11. And Donald Trump, why is he continually being harassed and charged? Are they afraid of Donald Trump running for office? We've seen that here locally, what they do to prevent people from becoming powerful. That's what they're doing to Donald Trump. They know that the people support Trump, whether you're white, black, or Hispanic, Asian, doesn't matter. I've seen all types of Donald Trump supporters, women and children, grown men, young men, doesn't matter. People love Trump, and I think that's why they're going after him. That's why they tried to impeach him twice with no success. Forget parties. I'm learning that the Democrats might be the worst party in history. And AI, do we really need it? Let's talk about it next time. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Have a beautiful Friday. TGIF. TGIF. Have you seen the AI that picks up cars and carries them away? People with bad social credit scores in China? No, but I got to check that out. Social credit scores coming here, and a lot of us ain't going to do too well. God forbid that we ever see it here. But maybe we will, because somewhere deep down in my gut, I feel like China has already taken over. They've been invaded us, and they control us, along with Israel. And that's not being anti-Semitic. Not at all. Is being pro-Ukraine and anti-Russian? Anti-Russian? Why is it that we can talk about any other country? China, Russia, even the German Nazis. But if you mention Israel, you are anti-Semitic. Think about that. Did you know that 90% of our U.S. government is Jewish? Many officials appointed or elected are Jewish with dual citizenship to Israel, including Chuck Schumer. He has dual citizenship, and he has praised Israel and promised, above all else, to be for Israel, even if America is going down in a ball of flames. Yes, he has said this. Israel runs the show. They're using China to do their dirty work. Pay attention.
Freddie wins. Fatality.